You're doing all the right things, paying your bills on time, putting a little money into savings, maybe even investing here and there. So why does it still feel like you're not making any real progress? You know, the kind of progress that gives you peace of mind, that makes you feel like you actually have financial freedom, like you're building a lifestyle of wealth instead of scarcity. Why does it feel like everyone else has more money than you? The new cars, the vacations, the kitchen renovations? What's really going on here? If that's how you're feeling, like everyone else has more money than you, even though you're doing everything you're supposed to do, and you're stuck wondering why you're not creating the lifestyle and financial freedom you really want, I'd love to help you. I offer a free wealth activation breakthrough call where we'll uncover what's keeping you stuck, align your goals with the future that you want, and map out the next steps to finally move you forward. You'll find the link to book your call in the description below. So in today's video, we're breaking down the 5 biggest reasons why it feels like everyone else has more money than you, and how each one might be holding you back from building the wealth and the lifestyle that you really want. Let's start with the first one, which is every single month you find yourself transferring money from one bank account to another just to make things work out. You set up the separate funds, the emergency savings, a little buffer, maybe even a sinking fund, so you wouldn't have to deal with this all the time. But somehow payday comes around, you pay the bills, and it's not too long afterwards that you're moving money that was supposed to be for the electric bill over into groceries, or you're pulling from savings just to cover something else. Does that sound familiar? Like you're just juggling accounts every month, even though technically the bills get paid mostly on time. You know, on paper, your budget looks fine, but for some reason, the money just never seems to fit the way it should. And it's frustrating, right? It feels stressful that you have to keep playing this juggling game month after month after month. The problem here is that you're living without real buffers, and that keeps you stuck in survival mode every single month. And here's the deal. When every dollar is already spoken for, you end up in this game of constantly shifting things around, depending on transfers just to keep everything balanced. And that's why it feels like everyone else is ahead of you financially. But the truth is, they might be playing the exact same game behind the scenes, but from the outside looking in, all you see is their highlight reels, not the struggle that's really going on. So the second thing that's happening is every time a little extra money comes in, say a raise, maybe even a tax refund, a bonus from work, somehow it just seems to disappear. And you're not really sure what the heck happened. Like, seriously, the extra money was supposed to help you finally start seeing some financial freedom and get you on track towards building real wealth, right? Have you ever been there? I know I have. You're not blowing it all on stupid stuff or anything. Maybe take out a couple extra times, or finally putting some money towards that project that you've been putting off. Or maybe you've treated yourself to something special. It's not like you're really being irresponsible, but meanwhile, one of your friends just went out and bought a brand new car or even a new used car, and you're thinking, well, I'm definitely not doing that. Not like I could anyway. Do you feel that? Have you been there? Well, that's lifestyle creep, and it's the reason that no matter how much more money comes in, it feels like you never actually move ahead. And that's what makes it so frustrating. You're making enough money, but it doesn't feel like you're actually getting further ahead. And from the outside, when you see everyone else posting about their new cars, their big trips, or their whatever, well, it just looks like they're so much further ahead than you financially. And here's another reason. The third reason. It feels like everyone else has more money than you. By the time the end of the month comes around, you're sitting there wondering, why don't you have as much left over as you thought you would? And listen, if you've been nodding your head at some of the things that I've been talking about, you're probably thinking, okay, there's got to be reasons or strategies to deal with this, right? And honestly, I'd love to help you with that. That's exactly what we work on inside the free Wealth Activation Breakthrough Call, getting to the root of what's keeping you stuck and mapping out your next steps. You'll find the link in the description below if you want to grab a spot. You know, when you realize that your bank balance is kind of low at the end of the month and you look over your statement and nothing really stands out as a big purchase, it's just the usual stuff, you know, a couple of Amazon orders, your regular grocery trips, the bills, nothing major. Can you relate to that? Looking at your bank statement and thinking, wait a second, where did all the money go this month? You see, what's going on here is that too many of your spending decisions are happening in the moment, and that it makes it nearly impossible to feel like you're in control of what happens with your money. So, of course, it's frustrating when you want to have a date night with your sweetheart, or you want to hang out with your friends, or you want to pick up that thing that you've had your eye on, but the money feels tight. And it seems like if you do it, it's going to put a strain on your budget. So you end up canceling the plans. You decide not to buy that thing, or maybe you just swipe the credit card just to cover it that time. And talking about credit cards, let's talk about number 4. Think about this. Payday comes, you cover the bills, and then somewhere in the middle of the pay cycle, money gets a little tight. So you swipe the credit card just to fill the gap. And of course, you plan to pay it off when the statement comes in, right? You know, we all know that's what has to be done to stay out of debt. That's what happens when you start using credit cards as a bridge instead of a tool, and it leaves you feeling weighed down and heavy. Tell me in the comments, do you ever use your credit card like a bridge between paychecks? Or are you more of the type to avoid it completely? And if you do avoid it completely, what do you do when there's a gap between your paycheck and everything that still needs to be paid? Do you cut something out? Maybe you pay a little bit on one bill and plan to catch it up on the next month. Just leave me a comment below. I would love to know what you do when you're facing that gap. Because let's be honest, whatever your strategy that you're using, doesn't that start to feel a little heavy after a while? When month after month, you're leaning on your credit cards just to make your budget work, even though your paycheck should be enough. And that's when you start looking around thinking everyone else is living their best life while you're stuck carrying this weight. It sure looks like they're ahead, and you're left wondering, what's the deal with me? Am I missing something here? The money's coming in. I'm not really spending all that much. So where's it going? And the last reason it feels like everyone else has more money than you is because so many of the things that you still want are stuck in the someday ether. They're out there somewhere, just waiting for you to stick them into your plans so that you can also live that life that you've always been wanting. You know what I mean here, right? You keep saying that someday you're going to take that dream vacation, that you'll remodel the kitchen, you'll have enough financial freedom to cut back on your work hours. But you don't actually seem to be getting any closer to making any of that happen. Someday keeps getting pushed further and further down the road. Let's talk about that. You see, without a clear plan, those goals just stay stuck in someday mode. And that's why it feels like everyone else is ahead. And every time you scroll through social media, you see people posting their trips, their new homes, their remodeling projects. They're bragging about how they cut back at work. And it stings a little bit. You can't help but wonder, why is it happening for them and not for me? And the truth is, that's exactly why it feels like you're so far behind. From the outside, you only see what they've already made happen, while you're still sitting there with your dreams that feel so far out of reach. If any of this hits home for you, if you've caught yourself nodding along because it feels like I've been talking straight to your situation, then I want you to know you're not alone. Seriously, these are some things that so many people struggle with and they never talk about it. And you don't even realize it because you feel like you're the only one dealing with the stuff. But here's the reality. You don't have to stay stuck. This next video is going to go deeper into exactly what's really holding you back. I'll see you there.